Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Skip Basil, and this is the UX Toolkit. There are several ways that I'll show you how to make a mock-up for a case study. We're going to use the Amity website at amity.ac.uk as an example. Now, this can be done using Figma, and you can pause the video if you wish to see this sample that I've made. Otherwise, you can see the PowerPoint slides which are coming up, and I'm also going to be giving some other examples in this video. So one of the first things that you would need to do is to get a figma.com/education account made. So if you have a student .ac or .edu email account, you can do that. And then there's a video here that you can take a look at, which will help you to learn a little bit more about Figma. So there's a plugin that I've used, which you can add to your Figma account called html.to.de. That is explained in the other video link. We'll go through and we'll show you this website here, which is the Amity University in London website. Now, when we looked at this particular website, the goal, the task for this was to take the client, the student, the customer, and bring them to be able to find the information out about the MBA program. Now, it takes several clicks to go through a number of different menu options on the top of the page to be able to eventually find the information about the MBA. And so what we've established was that an alternative way of finding the information much easier would be to add a search engine and the sitemap as a navigation tool. So the next slide is going to be a sample of how this can be done in the use of PowerPoint as the way to generate the prototype. If you are not familiar with Figma, then this is another way of doing it, where you make a screen grab of the background, and then the various links that I'm going to be demonstrating are added in as a graphic tool. Simply, again, creating the image with Microsoft Paint or any graphics package that you're used to. And then putting that together into the PowerPoint slides to simulate the hyperlinks in a website. Okay, so here we can see that we have the modified home page of the Amity University in London website. Now, the original one does not have the word sitemap in it, and it does not have the white rectangle with the hourglass. Now, what we've done is created the impression that we have an actual website with a search engine. So if you were to type in the letters MBA and then hit the search icon, that would take you then to this page where you would be able to then find the information out about the MBA program. From that aspect in the prototype, that is one way of getting to the MBA program. Additionally now, what we've done is we've added the text to the menu at the top. So we have the home page link, and then I've added the text for sitemap. So if you were to click on sitemap, that would then bring you to this simulated sitemap image, where you can see the number of different HTML pages, web pages in the Amity site. And what we've done is we've highlighted any of the pages that have the MBA offering. If you were using this PowerPoint presentation, you could click on the home button to go back to the original page that we were looking at. So through this prototype, we've offered two pain point solutions. The initial pain point was finding the MBA information. Okay, so from that real-time example, what we're going to do then is we're going to take a look at this toolkit that we've made. So with this, the purpose of this is to be able to provide an overview of the process of going from pain point identification to developing a prototype solution. And this is using a kind of 5-part sprint UX methodology. We'll be starting off to take a look at the pain point items in the first column, and then in the second part of this video we'll be looking at the development side. So there are a number of things that to be aware of that we're trying to get people to understand about the process of this UX development. One is to be able to have user-centered design, where we're focusing on the client or the customer, and then the second is on the task itself, trying to accomplish the task. What we want is to be able to cross-check and validate the various decisions that we're going to be making. So as we're going through this, hopefully you'll see a kind of mapping or roadmap of going from these initial pain points to the design of our solution that you saw in the sample. So we're starting off with a website. In our case, we did a screen grab, print screen in order to get the page captured. Some things that we recommend as well to do a kind of workflow plan or Gantt chart. It's also very good to do a mind map, which is just an overall diagram of all the various actors and elements and technologies that are being used. What you want to try to do is to categorize in the theme what that pain point is about. So it might be in terms of accessibility, are you able to read the information on the website? Or it might be, in our case, navigation. You're wanting to find a specific thing, the MBA information, and so how do you navigate to get there? Okay, so it might be doing something with respect to the navigation structure. There was desk research needed to be done as well, which we would say is going to be like a literature review. But on this slide, you can see there's also the commercial research which is involved. So market research, taking a look to see what the competition is doing, what other people are doing. This is a very important element. You want to reference, just like with the literature review, have a bibliography. As you're going along, bookmark any of the websites or text or journals that you find. Put that in the bibliography Harvard referencing style and put it in alphabetical order. Um, Along with this, we also would expect to see some information about the business mission statement, vision statement, and values. If there's something on the corporate social responsibility, that's useful as well. So that information is useful because we would then be able to use that to help justify perhaps some of our design decisions. Persona work is to identify the stakeholders, the characteristics, the personalities. There are a number of different and needs. There are a number of different tools that we can do this with. For example, being able to do an online survey with some stakeholders. That's the ideal. Make sure that if you're designing any type of primary data collection, whether it be survey or interview, that you're following the ethical guidelines for your organization and any other professional standards which are listed in the next column. We are also, looking for other types of tools such as empathy maps or user customer journey maps. A hierarchical task analysis may be useful to kind of demonstrate the various steps, the stages that you go through in order to get from A to C. And there can be other types of persona tests as well. Now, the standards should be investigated for that particular company. It might be that you've got corporate guidelines, for example, the colors that are used for the company. So there could be a style guide that you need to be aware of. You don't want to make a recommendation to change the color of the logo if that doesn't meet the corporate restrictions. Also, be sure to investigate anything in terms of the ethics restrictions that you might have and data protection laws. We want to make sure that any recommendations that are made comply with these. And in terms of professional issues and regulations, be sure to look at the accessibility guidelines. So when we're talking about the methodologies, we mentioned earlier the 5-part sprint. That's one approach. It can be user-centered design, task-centered design, and it might be that you're going to do a mix, a blend of those two. The principles involved are many. So what we recommend is that you do some searching, for example, the Jacob Nielsen website, where you can find a number of different UX laws or principles or guidelines or heuristics. It might involve the navigation structure. It might be about the interface design itself or the way the text is set up. It can involve the interaction of the humans with the computer system overall. We are also, looking at the type of media. So is it text? Is it images? Is it video? Is it moving images? Accessibility falls into this. So we want to make sure that you have all those considerations in place. And then one of the key points here on this toolkit is to actually identify that pain point. I recommend that for each pain point you do a separate toolkit, which we will be having available on the website, so you can download the Word document and actually use this toolkit to help you with identifying that pain point. Then in the bottom, your summary. So you want to make any notes for your justification about what decisions, what plans you've made. So moving on here, we've got the induction approach and the deduction approach. At the very top of the toolkit, you have seen an arrow that says induction. That's top down. And then at the very bottom is the bottom-up approach. So you can do either or a mix of the two,